Hey, it's Bill from the Bill Simmons podcast. FIFA World Cup 26 fans, listen up. As the official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 26, Michelob Ultra is giving away $1 million worth of FIFA World Cup 26 tickets and prizes. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26. Michelob Ultra FIFA World Cup 26 superior access. No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus begins on December 1st, 2025. Ends on July 31st, 2026. Multiple entry periods. Visit www.MichelobUltra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26 for free entry deadlines, prizes, and details.
This episode is brought to you by Google Health. Stop chasing someone else's definition of health. What matters is what's healthy for you. Google Health offers a new kind of coach built with Gemini for effortless tracking, sleep insights, and holistic coaching tailored to you. Visit googlestore.com to learn more and start a new relationship with your health. Requires Google account, Google Health app, internet, and Google Health premium subscription. Features subject to change. Availability and results vary. Not intended for medical purposes. Works independently of Gemini apps. Check responses for accuracy.
Pay's checkout is offered by your banks and credit unions. So when you shop online at participating merchants, your cards appear in one place. Pay's. It checks out. Activation required. See Pays.com to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello there, Stanley Carr here. You know, I love collecting music and sports memorabilia. Want to know where you can find some? I'll tell you. Go to oldglory.com. This website features one-of-a-kind apparel from your favorite sports teams and musical artists. And I can help you get 15% off of all items. Use the code WWH135. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. Before we get started, I want to take a second to promote our brand new book, which you can see right here on the screen, Champions for a Cause, Volume 1. It is a collection of interviews with some of your favorite professional wrestling personalities. I'm talking about Mark Marrow, Buff Bagwell, Jake the Snake Roberts, Tito Santana, and so many others. It is available now on Amazon.com as a paperback for $15. Go ahead and check it out if you're interested. With me right now, I've got a very special guest. She is a part of the legendary Nitro Girls in WCW. I am talking with the one and only Nitro Girl Fyre, a.k.a. Teri Byrne. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
It's my pleasure. So, talk to me about your childhood and upbringing. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a Southern girl, grew up there, and that's luckily where I was living when I had the opportunity to start with WCW. But that's where I grew up, country girl at heart, grew up, in tree houses, riding horses, cats, dogs, all the good things.
All right. Sounds like a pretty amazing childhood. Doing a little bit of research on you and your career. I heard through the grapevine you were a big wrestling fan growing up.
I was. Yeah. I was just, Randy Macho Man and Elizabeth and George the Animal Steel were ones that when I was a kid, when they would come on, I just loved watching them.
Just so captivating with Macho Man, with the colorful costumes and the outfits, and then George the Animal Steel, just this larger-than-life personality that would go around just eating, chewing things on the turnbuckles. Something you wouldn't see every day, you know?
No, they were larger than life. They really were.
And it's fascinating, too, like years later, you get to work with somebody like a Randy Savage, like a Miss Elizabeth in WCW. What were they like to be around backstage?
It was so surreal to meet them backstage in person and to week after week get to know them. And even until the very end of my career with Nitro, Randy Savage was always larger than life to me. He was just incredible. And Miss Elizabeth, at that time, there were very few women in wrestling. So it was the Nitro Girls and Miss Elizabeth in the dressing room getting ready. And I have so many memories of her in her curlers and just talking with her. And she was just as wonderful as you can imagine she was.
Yeah, I've heard like so many incredible stories, people talking about how sweet she was backstage, outside of the ring. Still missed to this day, along with Randy Savage, both of them.
Yeah, they'll always be missed.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go to your story a little bit. Doing a bit of research on you. Always big into fitness, growing up, doing the modeling and everything. Were you always big into sports growing up? How did you get involved with that?
So no, I wasn't. I was always into horses when I was growing up. I rode horses from the time I can remember. I did compete in horse shows. And then it wasn't until I finished college that I started teaching aerobics and got interested in the gym. And then I just became obsessed with working out. Loved working out, became a gym rat. Got really into diet and what you should eat and not eat. And then I just became motivated to compete. Because I'm very competitive by nature, and I was just really bitten by the workout bug. And once I started competing, I just really got into it, and I loved it. A lot about food and discipline and consistency and all those great characteristics that we need in everyday life. But I really took them to a whole new level when I started taking fitness seriously and getting up on the stage. So, yeah.
Did you do any personal training as well?
I did. I started personal training at the gym, and it worked out great because I had clients early in the morning, and then I would work out, and then I might be there in the afternoon and do my second round of cardio and have, the clients who like to work out after work. So I was at the gym all the time. And at that point in my life, I just loved it. It felt at home. I had such a great network of friends at the gym, always learning new exercises, new things to try, new ways to make your body do what you want it to do. So it was just fascinating. It's really a science behind it.
It really is. And plus too, there's so many challenges that you're faced with, and you really want to make sure like you're able to overcome them, because it is pretty intense, because you're constantly having to go build muscles, build your body up. And you want to make sure you stay consistent. You stay going to the gym, making sure you get those reps in as much as possible.
Yeah, and your body is amazing. It adjusts. So you can do something and have a discipline and a routine for weeks, and then your body acclimates to it. And then suddenly you hit this plateau where you're not getting the results that you once were. So now you have to shock your body and trick your system and do something new to get to that next level. And then diet is that whole other layer that comes into it. And we're so many incredible trainers at the gym that really had the diet and all of the supplements down to a science. That was something I never really mastered, but it's such an integral part to, diet, fitness, how we look, holding on to lean mass muscle and not holding water, all of those things.
And two, when you're going to these competitions, you really want to make sure that you're in shape, that you constantly are practicing and preparing for it. What were some things that you felt that I would say it was like the toughest part about competing, and how you were able to kind of overcome those obstacles?
Stretching for me, even today, is integral. I get up every day and stretch. That's one of the first things that I do. And stretching was a big part of weightlifting, fitness, dancing, of course. It's not enough to just build muscle and to diet down. If you're not stretching, you're not going to be able to do the movements and to do all the things that come with having a healthy lifestyle. So that was a huge takeaway. The other thing that I really learned is that being in shape in the gym is not the same thing as being in shape. I'll never forget when I was at the the peak of my fitness going to CrossFit for the very first time. And I thought I was going to throw up. I mean, being able to do pull-ups and to move my body and to do all the plyometrics that come with that type of workout, I just didn't have from working out in the gym. So that was a shift, was learning, okay, what do I need to change and do so that my body is strong and my cardio, my heart rate and everything is really strong. So a huge wake-up call the first time that I went to a CrossFit gym.
What were your favorite parts about competing?
Honestly, I could not wait until the competition was over so that I could go and have a stack of pancakes. I could not wait to have pancakes after the show, because by the time you get to the show, you're depleted on water, you've been living off of fish and maybe some broccoli. So I could not wait to eat. And then afterwards, it was just, the pride and that feeling of success of accomplishing something that isn't easy, and knowing that you can do it and putting your mind to something, and that feeling of knowing that nothing can get in your way if you put your mind to it. I mean, I felt that every time.
Yeah, you have to build that confidence so that you can constantly go, okay, you got this under your belt, you can move on to the next challenge. And so it just build, and then once you make it, you start getting, known, you get the magazine covers and everything. So it's like, it builds to that exact moment where people know you're showing up in these publications, and then all of a sudden you get a call to be a part of this incredible group of women called the Nitro Girls. And it's interesting. We talk about wrestling, talk about Randy Savage and everything kind of coming full circle. Do you remember the moment where you were when you got recruited to join WCW?
Yes. I was at the main event gym, and I'll never forget that, because when Kimberly Page told me that I had been selected to join and when the next show was going to be, and that rehearsals were starting within a week and I would meet the rest of the team, it really didn't land and become real for a couple of days. Yeah.
It's crazy because you hear about this opportunity, you practice for it, you rehearse for it. I'd imagine these kinds of competitions and everything, like this contest and auditions and everything, it can be stressful, because you go in, you hope you do a good job, you have this anxiety, the nerves start kicking in, but there's that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Where you go, okay, they like what I'm doing. They're giving me the okay. What was going through your mind when you auditioned to be a Nitro Girl?
I really did not know what to expect until my very first live performance. Did it really hit me how huge wrestling was then, and the size of the audience, and what a live show really, really was. I really had no idea the magnitude of what it was going to entail and how huge it was until that very first show. When I first met with Kim and I found out that I had been chosen, of course, I had just a myriad of emotions: shock, enthusiasm, excitement. I had a really cushy little 9-to-5 job at the time. I was in the mortgage industry. So this was a complete shift from what I'd been doing. And then it really did hit me that first night how this was going to change my life and what it was really going to be about, and that I was going to be a part of it. And so much of what I had learned in fitness and working out and competing and feeling that the success of winning when you overcome something really hard was that mind over matter, is when you decide that you want to do something, you really can do it. And it was that same lesson that kept me with Nitro for years to come, because there continue to be challenges and changes and traveling and opportunities. And it's that mindset that really helped me stay with it and enjoy it and love it.
Were there things from your time as a fitness competitor, your time in the gym, lessons that you learned that kind of helped prepare you for this moment to be as a Nitro Girl in WCW?
Absolutely. Being disciplined was the number one thing. We had a pretty regimented routine because the shows were Monday, and we would always fly out Monday morning to get to the arena, and then we would have dress rehearsal and then the show that night. So throughout the week, all of us were doing cardio, working out, dieting, practicing. And then the day of the show was really a lot of rest, a lot of saving your energy so that when you could go out and perform our numbers, we would give it 100%. And then it was after the show and the next day, that Tuesday, was really when we all kind of rested, and we gave ourselves that permission to rest, to maybe cheat on our diet, take a minute not to work out so hard. And then we would start again on Wednesday. So it's finding that rhythm, but still maintaining that discipline to where it was still fun. It was still enjoyable because it was every Monday. And then it got to a point where it was Thursday Thunders. Then we started adding pay-per-views. Then we started doing radio junkets. Then we had the movie that we were in. We started to do guest appearances on talk shows and on game shows. So our schedule got busier and busier, and you've got to look great and be fit all the time, not just when you're on camera, but when you're traveling, when you're at the airport, when fans see you, you have to be ready. So the discipline was the biggest thing that I learned from fitness and training and working out that really propelled me through those following years with Nitro.
Always have to remember the red light is always on at all times. No matter what, if you're off the clock, it's still on.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, when you're coming from the fitness world, now you're in a huge, huge environment like something like WCW. You're in front of another audience, a big crowd. Talk to me about, did you feel like you adjusted to it? Were you prepared to adjust to a larger audience? Were you used to this kind of an atmosphere before when you did the fitness competitions?
Nothing can compare you for Monday Night Nitro live back in the early 2000s when it was just larger than life. Nothing could prepare you. I was definitely not prepared for that very first show. I think like any job, the more that you do it, it does become your job. And over time, you acclimate to the crowds, the size of the crowds, the red light, the smoke, all of the things that make Nitro so magical. You do adjust to it and it becomes your job. Not that I ever took it for granted or that it ever became normal. But it wasn't nearly as shocking as it was during those first few months, for sure.
Let's talk about some fun memories here. So getting a segment on the show, dancing, what were some of your favorite dance routines, numbers, segments that you were involved in? Any fond memories from your time as a Nitro Girl?
So many memories. So many funny memories, so many great stories, so many backstage stories with the girls, with the guys, so many unexpected things. I think my favorite dance routine was one that Vanessa Tigress choreographed. It was really cool. It had this piece in the choreography where we were all standing in the circle in the middle, and then we fell to the ground. It was just a really cool, ripple choreography. Just the whole dance number was really beautiful. We did another just incredible number in Vegas at the Vegas pay-per-view, and we had just these incredible gold costumes and this shimmery fabric. It was beautiful. So we did a lot of really pretty dances over the years that I'm really proud of, especially every once in a while I'll find them on YouTube. I'm like, I forgot about that dance. And it was just a great one.
Yeah, and the other thing is the camaraderie. You talk about the camaraderie. You're with these people 300 days a year, constantly traveling on the road. You see them, and then you also see your male counterparts, the guys. Talk to me about some of the people you enjoyed being around backstage. I know we talked about a couple of them with Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. Who are some of the other people you got to hang around that you've got fond memories of?
Well, the girls, we're all still the best of friends. I have spent the last, I don't know how many Thanksgivings with Vanessa. I have Che and Melissa at my house pretty regularly. Amy is going to be here in July, and we're doing an autograph session here in Charlotte. So we're all still so tight. Many of them have children. We've been there for weddings, new babies, all the great things. So the fact that our friendship, and it is truly a sisterhood more than anything else, has endured and strengthened in the last 25 years is incredible, because most friends over time, you kind of fall apart, especially when there's time and miles between you. But we're all so tight and so close, and that will never change. We'll be the Golden Girls. As far as the guys, there are so many great, funny stories with the guys. I always loved the Steiner brothers. They were such a hoot. Billy Kidman was really fun. Jericho, hilarious. Buff Bagwell, he was super funny. And of course, Kevin Nash will always be dear to my heart. Really just love that guy. So just so many really good guys that I had the honor to work with and get to know, and they got to know me, and we all share those memories together.
Any fun backstage stories or road stories you want to share?
We used to they had a candy bowl backstage at Nitro, huge candy bowl, and of course a week of dieting where you're not supposed to have any sugar, and we're trying to be good so we can fit into our costumes for Monday night. But after every dance, we would run right off of the ring to the office where all that candy was and just grab a fistful. And we would have just candy all over our dressing room, in our bags. I mean, just chowing down like little kids. We could not wait for the candy bowl on Monday Night Nitro.
Can't go wrong with some candy.
Oh, we did some damage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, looking back all these years later, you were part of just a legacy. This was right around the time the WCW and the WWE were going head-to-head on Monday nights for ratings and brand supremacy. Pro wrestling was really white hot during this time. I don't think we've ever seen, as popular as wrestling is right now, I don't think we'll ever see a period like that again.
I know. It's sad to me, but I think you're right. Those were just golden years, and I think there is something to be said of the rivalry that existed between WWF at the time and WCW is what really fueled it and made it just so what it was. And as soon as that there was only one, something changed, something shifted in the industry. So I'm just so grateful that I was a part of it when it was just at its pinnacle.
Did you ever get pitched any storylines or any kind of angles that you were going to be involved in or were scheduled to be involved in? Because like a lot of people in the Nitro Girl, whether it was the Nitro Girls or other women that came later in WCW, were involved in several different storylines. Was that ever something that you pitched to creative or someone ever reached out to you about being a part of?
Well, there was a storyline with the Nitro Girls where there was a rift between us. It's when Kimberly left the Nitro Girls, where she could no longer be a part of it. And so we didn't have a leader anymore. And then Spice decided to step up and she was going to be the leader. And we all got into a big rift about it because we didn't all agree that she should just step in. So then half of us sided with AC Jazz and the other half sided with Spice. And it became this, big argument and a fight between the Nitro Girls. And there was a couple fights during dance routines that were hilarious. Instead of finishing dance, we had like a brawl and started fighting with each other. There was a backstage, and this I think is still on YouTube today, a scene where we were trying to leave the arena and we got into a big blowout, and AC Jazz and Melissa Spice got into a fight backstage and Kevin Nash had to break it up. It was a really fun storyline. It was very similar to NW.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
And it was kind of, I think it was there were mixed reviews from the fans on whether or not they liked it, didn't like it, but it was really fun to do. And the storylines really came later, I think maybe a year or so later, when there was a shift in the direction that WCW was going, and you started to see more of the female talent wrestling. I don't know if you remember that, but all of a sudden they started introducing more female characters. They started wrestling. They asked Vanessa Tigress if she wanted to wrestle. Same with Spice. So that started to become more and more prevalent, I think, in the final year of WCW.
Did you ever want to pursue wrestling? Was that something that you wanted to do?
No, I really had no desire to do that. I would have loved to have done more with the storyline. That is so right up my alley. I love all of that. But because I really didn't want to wrestle, I was limited, and it wasn't too much longer after that WCW, unfortunately, was no longer.
Yeah, that was a real sad day for the industry when WCW shut down, because competition, I feel like, is so essential to pro wrestling. It brings out the best in both or all products.
Yeah.
And so you had all these people that were no longer going to be working anymore for at least a little bit of time before they started getting picked up by WWE. And so it was just sad. It was very unfortunate that was the end of an era.
It was very sad. I wish it could have had a different ending. I wish it could have gone on longer. I guess, what they say, all good things come to an end. But it was just an amazing, 5 years.
Now, you brought up something a bit ago that I think is pretty fascinating. You got to be involved with Ready to Rumble, which was one of the all-time great wrestling movies with David Arquette. Incredible if you haven't watched it yet. But what was it like being a part of the movie? Explain your role in it and any tidbits or anecdotes you might want to share.
I have to say that experience making the movie was the highlight of my television and wrestling career. Just incredible. Each of us had our own trailer, and we had our own director chair with our name on it. The set was amazing. We learned so much about the movie industry. The very first day that we got there, we were taken to a bridge downtown. It was 2 a.m, and it was the trailer scene. For those of you who have seen the movie, it was the trailer scene where there was a party going on and there was dancing going on at night, and the trailer was underneath this, bridge. That was a real place, and we were there in the middle of the night. And that scene in the movie is, somewhere in the middle of the movie, but that was the first scene that we shot. And we're out there in our little like Britney Spears dance outfits. And this was early when we met David Arquette for the first time. And he was very shy and was not sure what to do when it came time for him to dance. So he came up to myself and I think it was Charmel and was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm going to have to dance in a minute. And we talked him through it. And then when it came time for that part in the movie, of course, he was hilarious. But that was one of the first experiences I had making a movie. And then the second scene was even crazier. They said, okay, Fyre, you're going to be in the hot tub in the back of the Hummer with Martin Landau. I'm like, what? And of course, I'm thinking this is going to be the start of my movie career, right? I'm going to be in a hot tub with Martin Landau. And it was myself and Charmel and Martin Landau. And it was the last scene of that movie, but it was the second scene that we shot. And it showed us in the Hummer driving away. We did that scene about 4 times. And Che had to drive the Hummer with the hot tub in the back. It was just crazy. And again, we filmed in the middle of the night. These are things I never knew about movies, that a lot of the scenes that are filmed are done at these crazy times and they're never in sequence.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting this mainstream exposure by being a part of something like this. And years later, people are going back and watching this. It's crazy to think about. We're so many years removed from that. And it's still something you look back upon and like, wow, this actually happened.
Yeah. And the store in the movie, where the convenience store, that was a set, that wasn't real, and looked so real to walk on it. So it was just a magical experience. Rose McGowan played a Nitro Girl. So Charmel and I flew in to LA early to teach her choreography. So we got to spend some one-on-one time with her. And then, Oliver Platt was there. At the time, David Arquette was married to Courtney Cox. She was there. I mean, just, looking back, there were so many celebrities in that movie that we were on set with every day.
What was it like teaching Rose how to dance?
She did good. She picked up really quickly.
So cool to be able to work with all these people, these Hollywood actors, and to be a part of something that was just so mainstream.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Experience.
Definitely was. Now, I want to switch gears and talk about some of the stuff you have been able to do outside of the ring, outside of wrestling. I know you've been very involved in the community, doing stuff with schools, but I know you're also passionate about various causes. What kinds of things are you very involved with and are passionate about in your community?
I think like so many people today, we all have opinions on everything. And my goodness, I definitely have mine. But there is one thing that I have always been very passionate about, and I have really strong feelings about, and that is animals, animal cruelty, no animal testing. I'm really passionate about that. I'm not a big believer in people who breed dogs. I don't like to see where people have dogs, tied up in the backyard. Those types of things really hit my heart, in a different place. And I really want to make a difference in education, information, really getting out there to help people take better responsibility for their pets when they have pets. The Asher House is a sanctuary out in on the West Coast that I'm a huge follower in. Lee Asher, he's got hundreds of dogs that he rescues, and he's very active on social media, and I'm a big follower of him, and I'm a big proponent of his work and what he does, not only to help animals, but he's got such a kind heart, and all of his updates talk about being kind to others, not just animals. He's just got a really great approach. And, I'd love to do, even if just a little bit of that in my own backyard and in my own community to, help pets have the best life they can have.
It's so amazing. Do you have any pets yourself?
I do. I have a backyard full of chickens, and I have a couple of acres, and every year a cat seems to find its way to my backyard. I've got one that showed up about a year ago who's wild as can be. He's got one eye, big cat, but I finally tamed him, and now he is just a big lover. And I'm up to 4. So I moved here with no cats, thinking I was going to get a dog, and Mother Nature had different plans.
That's so fascinating. Have you done have you been a part of different events with like animal shelters or rescues, gotten involved with any of those?
Some, yes. There's a local rescue here in my area that I participate in sometimes, and I'm always open to fostering. I think we definitely need more of that. There's so many animals in the shelter, and anytime you can take an animal out of a shelter and foster them, even temporarily, short term until they have a permanent home, it can really make a big difference in that dog or cat's life.
Definitely can. Animals need just as much love as humans do. So,
yeah.
Now, you also have been involved with the educational system, been a campus president at universities. How'd you get involved with that?
Yeah, my path after wrestling was definitely not a conventional one, was not one that anyone thought I would end up going down, and including me. For probably the first year after Nitro, I was still doing a lot of independent autograph signings. I did Comic-Con. I was still pretty busy in entertainment. While I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I had an opportunity to work at a university. And I took the opportunity thinking that it was going to be short term until I figured something out. And it was interesting because I did not have clothes to wear in an office environment because I had been touring and on the road and doing Nitro for 5 years. So I'll never forget having to go and buy, appropriate clothes for a corporate job. But interesting enough, what started out as what I thought was just going to be a temporary job turned into a 20-year career in higher education. And I started out in enrollment and then moved up into management and then into a director role and then into a regional director role. And ultimately, it led me to a campus president over a medical college. And I managed a nursing program, diagnostics program, surgical tech. And I was a campus president for 3 years. Just a really interesting shift from the lights and the stage and fitness to the boardroom to campus president. And over my career, I look at what I learned in bodybuilding and fitness and Nitro and performing. All of those things are the same things that help you in leadership. Coaching other people, problem solving, coming up with solutions, being innovative, how to have conversations with your team. All of those things, they just continue along the path. And for me, it's also been about reinvention, which I think is something that we all go through, because what and who we may have thought we were in our 20s might not be the same in our 30s and our 40s and even later. And learning how to reinvent, how to find, what's important to you in every season and every phase of your life has been a really exciting path for me. And I'm finding over the recent years, I've been having more conversations with people about that and how many of us go through it, whether it's a job change or a layoff or a divorce or children or loss of a loved one. Many times finds us all in a situation where we're like, what do we do now? Who am I now? What do I want to do now?
Yeah, and it's never easy because you're constantly trying to figure out in your head, what do I want to do in the next 5 to 10 years? What occupation do I want to pursue? How can I make a living doing something that I love? And you constantly have to research and find out.
And it is a tough place to be, isn't it? when maybe you saw yourself in a certain role for a certain amount of time, and realizing that that doesn't have to define you, that there's more to you. We all have so many layers to us. We all have so many talents. We can do more than just one thing. And letting ourselves think about all the possibilities and try new things and kind of break free of that, that's a learning process for all of us. And I've learned too, a lot of times it just takes one or two people along the way to see something in you and to tell you, hey, I see this in you and you can really do this. I mean, for me, it was a turning point in when I started out in education. I was on the phone with a student, and my leader at the time heard me, and he said, you're really talented at this. And he came to me 2 years later and said, I want you to open a campus. I think you'd be a great director. And I was like, I can't do that. And he was like, yes, you can. He believed in me. I did it. And I went on 2 years later and got so many awards at that university for my leadership and for having such a productive campus. And it was all because somebody believed in me.
Yeah. And the more people that know about what you're doing and word kind of spreads around, the higher chances things will take off.
Yeah. I always try to pay that forward too. When I see someone else that really shines or that has a talent, I try to tell them that because we just don't do it enough and recognize the good and the talent and the abilities in other people. And you never know, just by taking a few minutes, when you point that out in someone, how that can change the course of their life.
Exactly. And it motivates you to kind of continue to get better and do better and try to constantly work on your craft, whatever it is.
Yeah. 100%.
What has been the most enjoyable part about working in education?
I really loved being a campus president. And it's so funny because for probably 6 or 7 years, I said I never wanted to be a campus president. And, you should never say that, right? That's where you're going to end up. Just like in high school, I said, I hate math. I never wanted to do math. And I probably do math every day in my job. But when I became a campus president, I really loved it because I had interactions every day with students who had just a myriad of challenges and problems and were young adults, but maybe didn't have parents or they didn't have a place to live and they were trying so hard to make their life better. And I loved being a part of that and being that person to encourage them and to tell them not to give up. And yes, you can do that. And then seeing them at graduation, walking across the stage to get their diploma and knowing everything that they had gone through to get there, nothing tops that. That was probably one of my most rewarding experiences, was seeing young people change their life, knowing how hard it was.
And you played a big part in helping in their development, try to guide them through whatever it was, whether it was classes or tutoring or whatever, but you played a big role in their success.
Yeah, and sometimes it's tough conversations. If you want to be a nurse today, you can't have, acrylic nails. Don't get tattoos on your face. You can't have piercings. So those were conversations that are never well received, by a lot of young ladies who want to do all those things. And when I had to have conversations and say, listen, no one's going to hire you if you have this or you have that. This is a time to make a decision on what you want your life to be. Those conversations were not always easy, but seeing them graduate and become nurses or medical assistants or whatever career path they chose, and then get hired and then be making money and be able to take care of themselves and their family, worth it. 100% worth it.
Have you ever had any former students come up to you and talk with you about your wrestling career?
Yeah. Yes. In fact, when I first started in the education industry, and I moved into a director role, I was still pretty recognizable because I hadn't been off of TV for that long. And I had a lot of students come up and go, "Aren't you Fyre?" That used to happen time. And then even when I was a campus president, I had a handful of students who recognized me, and they thought it was a hoot that their campus president used to be in wrestling, So they would always come in and ask me questions, and it was fun. It was fun.
You'd mentioned a bit ago about going to conventions and everything. When you go to these events and see people that you haven't seen in years, you've seen some of these people since your time in the business, it has to feel good knowing that you've kind of made a difference and have helped these people get through the bad times and enjoy say things like, you were my childhood and thank you for all the memories. I mean, it has to feel good receiving these comments.
Absolutely. I had, and this I think maybe was 2 years ago, a fan come up to me with his son, and I had met him and his son maybe 15 years ago, and his son was little, and he still had the picture. And now his son was grown, and we took a new picture of the three of us, and he was like, a grown man. And there were the two pictures of when he was little and I was there, and then the picture of now his son is, walking and a grown man, and we took the picture, and it was just very surreal. And, wrestling fans are so loyal and so wonderful. They love the wrestling persona for decades, and they will still show up, and they'll still want to buy autographs and invest their time and their money to be a part of it. I mean, they're just incredible fans.
Have you kept up with it at all, a little bit here and there?
I haven't really lately, because there's not many of the wrestlers left that I know that are still wrestling. And, everything I have now is streaming, so I don't watch a whole lot of it anymore.
It's changed so much. It's gone from the eye candy to very serious. And I think it's amazing how women's wrestling has really taken off. It's become a huge market. There's always been passion, always been so many fans, like you said, that are loyal. But to see how much women's wrestling has grown and changed, I think that should be celebrated. It really is. It really should be.
I agree. You're right.
What is it about giving back to the community that gives you the most joy?
I think that the biggest way I do that is through my work. When I'm working with students, when I'm working with my team who directly affects students, and we're celebrating people who are getting their college education or their education in general later in life, where it's harder. It's harder to go to college when you're working and you're a parent than it is when you go straight out of high school. So seeing that and knowing that I make a difference in that way, I feel like is how I give back and how I make a difference. And that matters to me. I like that.
It definitely is. And you're really trying to be that person that's trying to push and motivate students as much as possible to really succeed, not only academically, but outside of school as well, trying to really help them figure out what it is they want to pursue in life.
Yeah.
Well, this has been wonderful getting the chance to speak with you. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers, Teri, for coming on. I want to say thank you for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where could people find out more about you? If you have anything you want to plug, feel free.
The Gathering is an autograph session in Charlotte coming up in July. I will be there. AC Jazz will be there, and a myriad of other wrestlers will be there. And you can find that on Facebook, I believe, if you just look up The Gathering, Charlotte, July 2026.
All right. And hopefully you'll get a crowd coming to see you all, and it'll be a big reunion.
I know. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, thanks again so much, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
It's my pleasure. And remember, you can get your copy now of Champions for a Cause Volume 1 available on Amazon as a paperback. It's got a chock full of interviews with some of your favorite wrestling personalities of all time. Buff Bagwell, Mark Merrow, Jake the Snake Roberts, Tito Santana, and so many more. Get your copy now on Amazon. I'm Stanley Carr, and I will see you next time.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 five-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 50% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.